And sometimes I fall to my knees and pray. Come, Jesus, come. Let today be the day. And sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break, but I'm holding on to hope that won't fade. But come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. 'Cause deep down I know this world isn't home. So come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. And there'll be no war.
There'll be no war.
And there'll be no chains.
There'll be no change.
But when Jesus comes,
When Jesus comes,
let today be the day. He'll come for the weak and the strong just the same, and all will believe in the power of his name. So come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long for the day you return to heal every hurt and right every wrong. We need you right now. Come and turn this around. 'Cause deep down I know this world isn't home. So come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. And one day he'll come, and we'll stand face to face. Come and lay it all down, 'cause it might be today. The time is right now. There's no need to wait. Your past will be washed by rivers of grace. So come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come. Come, Jesus, come.
Let's go. Yeah, you know what time it is? Come on. You know the song?
All my life I did struggle with you. All my life I felt so confused. All my life I had to do
What I have to do is
surrender.
All I had to do is surrender, you know?
To you.
Right? Come on.
You know how I feel when you're staring into those demon eyes. When you're high and alone, feeling those evil spirit vibes. Yeah, I've been alone, lost, feeling numb. Sitting in my hotel room, wishing that I was gone. Suicide thoughts running through my head, wishing I was dead. I wasn't hard to find, I thought I lost my mind.
Yeah,
I thought I lost my mind, I wasn't hard to find.
but guess what?
And then you came and rescued me from sin, rescued me from addiction, restored me from within, showed me the way, showed me how to pray, showed me how to live for another day. And then you came and rescued me from sin, rescued me from addiction, restored me from within, showed me the way, showed me how to pray, showed me how to live for another day. All my life I did struggle with you. All my life I had so confused.
Yeah, come on.
All my life I had to do was surrender
Surrender to who?
to you.
You. Come on.
All my life I struggled with you. All my life I felt so confused. All my life all I had to do was surrender to you. All my life I struggled with you. All my life I felt so confused. All my life all I had to do was surrender to you.
Come on.
All my life
Yeah.
I struggle with you. All my life I felt so confused. All my life
What I had to do?
all I had to
All I had to do was surrender
was surrender to you.
Yeah, right? So all my life, I struggled. I struggled my whole life. Every time I got sober, I relapsed. And every time I relapsed, I figured it out. I never had Christ in my life, and now I have Christ in my life. I'm 21 months sober, and I get to do this with you guys. Love you guys. I love you guys.
That's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
Come on.
Give it up for David.
Yeah.
He wrote that himself. He performed it, obviously. So give him a hand. That takes a lot of courage
Yeah.
to get up here and do it. What about Stephen Shaw? Huh? And the pastor and his wife? Oh my gosh. Sounds like we're at a rock stadium, huh? That's awesome. All right. Yes. Actually, we did Magic House. Well, I didn't do it. I was just there videotaping. But you guys don't know what Magic House is. That's a really good venue. Once a month. It's up in Anaheim. It's like a talent show. It's one of the best programs out there. I really love it. But anyway, my name's Scott. I'm a grateful recovered addict. I fought drugs and alcohol for 39 years. Yep, I have 3 years sober. Thank you. Yep, 3 whole years. Just like David, I would get sober. I chased sobriety like it was a god. And I got sober, then I hated it. And then I relapsed, then I hated it. My life was sucked really bad. So I'm not a pastor. I might drop some A-bombs or something like that. Please forgive me right now. We have the pastor in the back. He'll forgive me and put some holy water on me. So, but the thing is, when I learned recovery, that's when I learned freedom. And I got recovered through Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, and that's what we're doing. That's what we do here, all right? Let's do the mission statement, and then we'll keep going forward, okay? We got a new mission statement. All right,
Here we go.
Everybody stand with me. Just stand up. We're going to read this because this is like scripture right here, all right? All right, we're ready? The way recovery
Exists to boldly proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ, so hurting people can hear that Jesus saves, heals, and restores. We walk in recovery through Christ alone and freely share the hope, forgiveness, and abundant life He gives. always pointing every heart to Jesus, who brings true freedom and life in all its fullness.
John 10:10, Matthew 11:28, 2 Corinthians 5:17.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah. So we recover out loud here. We're loud right now, right? We recover out loud here because we want others not to die in fear. I was the biggest coward. I never went to a recovery program. I never went to recovery. I was too better. I was too good. And I wish I did, like 20,000 years ago. But now I'm here. We're all here together, right?
Amen.
We admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our life had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our lives and our will over to the care of God and what's it, Jesus? Okay. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And 5, admitted to God and ourselves and to other human beings the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7, humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we have harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made a direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when would injure or harm others. And 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we wronged, properly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God and seek His will and power to carry out. And 12, had a spiritual awakening. As the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and practice these principles in all of our affairs.
Good job. Give it up for Courtney.
Attended the 12-step thing this weekend?
Yes.
8 principles are: realize I'm not God. I admit that I am powerless to control my tendencies to do the wrong thing, and that my life is unmanageable.
All right, now, happy are those who know they spiritually poor, Matthew 5:3.
Good job. E, earnestly believe that God exists, that I matter to Him, and that He has the power to help me recover.
Happy are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted, Matthew 5:4.
C, consistently choose to commit all my life and will to Christ's care and control. Happy are the meek.
Happy are the meek, Matthew 5:5.
Right? Awesome. All right. Oh, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust.
Happy are the pure in heart,
There we
Matthew
go.
5:8.
V, voluntarily submit to every change God wants to make in my life and humbly ask Him to remove my character defects.
Happy are those whose greatest desire is to do what God requires, Matthew 5:6.
All right. E, evaluate all my relationships, offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me, and make amends for harm I've done to others when possible, except when to do so would harm them or others.
Happy are the merciful,
merciful.
happy are the
Happy are the
peacemakers,
peacemakers.
Matthew 5:7-9.
Nice. Good job, everybody. R, reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer in order to know God and His will for my life and to gain the power to follow His will.
R. Oh, yeah.
I love that one, bro. It's awesome.
Love the picture. Look at David. Wow, Ozempic.
Oh, wow. All right, everybody, focus. Why? Yield myself to God to be used to bring this good news to others, both by my example and my words.
Happy are those who are persecuted because they do what God required, Matthew 5:10.
All right.
Awesome. Good job. Give it up for James.
Awesome.
So this is leading into, I do a 12-step intensive workshop. Actually, me and David, we do put one on. What's that mean? We do all the 12 steps in one day. Like
Amen.
Originally supposed to do it back in the day. The 2 guys would go into the insane this time, Dr. Bob and Bill, and they would pick out the most craziest dude in the whole the clinic. It was a insane asylum. So this guy was like beating up the male nurses, you know, the size of David, these male nurses, and they would strap him into a straitjacket, and they would put him in a room and isolate him. And these two guys would come in there. All right, imagine this: the guy's in a straitjacket. Is your life unmanageable because of drugs and alcohol? What do you think? You know, got a captive audience. However, so they did the 12 steps in one day. There wasn't. If I had to wait to do the 12 steps over a 12-week period, I would have relapsed. I didn't have no patience for 12 steps. I didn't even like coming to meetings. I'd rather relapse and go to jail and hang out with the homies and drink Pruno in the jail and play cards than to sit in some stinking AA meeting. Oh, I got 14 years sober. I'm an addict. Like, dude, just have a drink and get it over with. Jeez, that's miserable. But, you know, they had no hope. And this is what this meeting's about. We give hope. Because there is hope. We do the 12 steps. We get spiritually clean. I think every 13-year-old needs to do the 12 steps. So on Saturday, if you want to come, I give breakfast and we do lunch, and you'll get a fifth step taker sponsor, and we'll do the 12 steps in one day. And if you guys want to get baptized, the next day we're doing a baptism. All right? So here at the church, this is a beautiful campus church. It's, 6 acres? And if you walk down there, you can see the view of the ocean. It's really beautiful right here, yeah. You know, I'm blessed to live right down the street, and I love my life. I have a really badass life right now. Before, I was living in a shed in San Diego, stealing cars at night. Now I'm 4 years later and up on a stage talking about Jesus. Right? All right?
Amen.
God can change my life. He can change your life. And what I did is I became brutally honest, and I started listening. I did what it took to stay sober and get sober. Yeah, I said that backwards, but that's what it is. Okay, so anybody who wants to do the 12 steps, let me know. I'll come pick you up in a van. I got 2 vans. I don't know if David's going to be here or not, but I'll recruit another driver, maybe Shaw. I don't know. Shaw? Maybe. Need a commitment, Shaw.
I gotta do that.
Or Lauren, somebody. But anyway, so yeah, I'll come by and pick you up. So I want to introduce our guest speaker. This is what I want you all to do. This is your job. All right? We're listening. We're going to put the phones down, and we're going to listen. All right, thank you. It's okay. I do the same. I'm a little ADHD, if you haven't noticed. So the thing is, this guy's getting up. Our guest speaker, whoever it is getting up here to talk. God brings these people across my path. And it's not here to lecture us. These guys have come up out of the ashes like we all have. So this is a message of hope. You see somebody up here that I'm well polished, right? I did not look like this 4 years ago. I had longer hair than most girls in here, and I was a dope fiend looking guy. All right, bad. And so what it is, when these guys are speaking, I want you to relate with them, right? That's your job, is to relate with them and their past. Relate with them and their strengths and their hopes and their desires. Listen to how they changed. See, this is we duplicate. When I started listening to those that had a beautiful life, then my life started becoming beautiful. So when the guy's up here speaking, just relate with them and see what his strengths are. See how he did it, and relate with them and get that message of hope deep inside you, because God doesn't show favoritism to nobody. All right? So anyway, the guest speaker tonight, his name's PEJ. All right? PEJ is an amazing guy. He's got like 19 million followers on YouTube. He's been around in the industry for 15 years. He's an interventionist. He's a recovery coach. He's like a hero to me. I watch his stuff. I'm like, man, he's like 15 years into this. I got 3, and I'm like, I don't put nobody on a pedestal, but I actually listen to those who are successful. And this man has a success not only in his business life, but his personal life. He just got into a new relationship, beautiful people. And I just love that. I love that, I can listen to this, get that hope and that strength, and I can duplicate that in my life because I want the same life, right? That's what we do. Come on, PEJ, come on up here. Give it a hand for PEJ.
Hi, everybody. My name is PEJ. It's so good to be here. I'm blessed. What a beautiful church. Look at the view out there amongst all of you beautiful souls. Thank you. I'll get into a little bit about who I am, how I grew up, where I grew up, and what all happened to me to bring me into the path of recovery. I'm Persian. I was born in Germany, and I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah for the first portion of my life. So if you were me, you'd be uncomfortable in your skin. Growing up in Utah was a little bit rough because I come from an Iranian Muslim family. and the vast majority of people in Utah are Mormon. And so, you know, they sent bread baskets and fruit baskets and put them on our front step in hopes of us, you know, maybe joining the church eventually. And my dad was a hardline Muslim. He would pray 5 times a day. Mom was still kind of, I think by the time we got to America, there was a lot more freedom, so she wanted to kind of still research and see what she wanted to follow. But growing up in Utah was, you know, it was hard. I was always comparing my insides to other people's outsides and losing every time. You have to understand, too, like in our neighborhood, in our area, everybody was pretty much blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and I was this. When you see other Iranian Persians, like they have like this olive tone, but for some reason, God struck me dark. And he gave me this year-round tan, right? And growing up in Utah, especially during that time, this was like the 70s, almost into the 80s, and during that time, there was some diplomatic problems between the U.S. and people of my nationality. So most of the people in Utah were very nice, good, friendly people, right? But there was a select few that didn't like my kind. They didn't like my skin color, and they didn't like my nationality, and they let me know it. And so I started to experience bullying at a very young age. And, you know, it's one thing to be in school and have somebody bully you because they don't like you, but it's another to come home to the house bully. And the reality of it was that my dad was a good man that provided, and he loved and nurtured us as best he knew how to do. But he had his days. You know, when Dad was overly stressed, you know, when Dad was happy, the house was happy. But when Dad was not in good spirits, you knew it. And you try to duck and dodge the old man, right? And back then, he did not hesitate to use a loud voice to get his point across. And sometimes he'd use his hands to get his point across, and sometimes he'd use objects. It was just that way. Now, I felt like when I say I felt uncomfortable in my skin at a very young age, I did. My dad used to drink on the weekends with his friends. And I cannot pronounce him an alcoholic. He could diagnose himself. But like the way they drank alcoholically. It was him and his friends, and they would drink cognac sometimes, and sometimes they'd drink beer, and sometimes they'd drink cognac with beer, right? And so I'm 8. Like I'm over in the corner doing the dizzy thing. I don't know if you were, when you were a kid, did you used to like to spin in circles until you got really dizzy? Like I was already trying to feel an effect, right? And so I'm doing the dizzy thing. I remember my dad would tell his friends, look at PEJ, come over here. And he'd give me a little sip off the cognac. And sometimes he'd give me a little sip off the beer. And I think he found it amusing that if I got a couple of those in me, then I'd fall down a lot faster so him and his drunk friends could laugh at me. But I remember I went to a Persian wedding when I was 12 years old. Not that I wanted to go to, I don't think any 12-year-old wants to go to a wedding, right? But I don't know if you know about Persians, but they're very festive people. Like at their weddings, they do that whole dancing thing, and they got the Persian food, and everybody's mingling. And I'm 12. Like I'm standing in the corner looking at the clock thinking, how am I going to get the next 6 hours of my life back? Like I don't want to be here at all. And I noticed that everybody's drinking champagne, and they're leaving these half-drank drinks of champagne all over the tables. And when nobody's looking, you know, I'm a curious 12-year-old and a little adolescent. I go up, I take a little whiff, I take a little sip, I take another little sip, and I remember when the alcohol went down into my belly, I got that sense of ease and comfort. And it was on and popping. That thing that happens to us where we become bodily and mentally different than our fellows, I graciously helped them finish all their half-drank drinks. And the next thing you know, I slid out on that dance floor, and I was pop-locking and break-dancing, and now I want to be at this wedding, right? And 6 hours went by in a flash, and I remember they started turning the lights on. My dad came in, come on, son, we're going. What? What do you mean we're going home? I just got started. And they stuck me in the back seat of the car, and I'm sitting next to my sister, and my mom and dad are driving home, and I'm having my own little party in the back seat. My eyes are rolling in the back of my head. I'm slurring my words. And I remember hearing my dad tell my mom, look at PEJ, he's on a good one. They took me home, and they stuck me in my bed, and I blacked out in the bed. That was the first time I ever experienced a blackout. And during that blackout, I wet the bed, I threw up in the bed. And I woke up the next morning, and I said, I've arrived. I must do that over and over again. Because for the first time in my life, I felt comfortable in my skin. And I wanted to chase that elusive sensation for the rest of my life. We used to come out here to California on vacation, usually in the dead of winter. Like there'd be this much snow in Utah, and so we come out here in like January. And I had some cousins that lived in Canoga Park and Woodland Hills, and I mean, I get off the plane, it's 2 states over. I get off the plane, I was like, there's no snow here. There's palm trees that got that tropical effect. You can go down to the beach and catch some rays. In January, you go to Disneyland, Hollywood, and California, live in. I tell my dad, like, Dad, what happened? Like, how did we end up in this cold, miserable state, Utah? Like, what could we do to move to California, to LA? He said, you never know, the opportunity might arise. And all of a sudden, 15 years old, Dad came home and he told me, hey, family, come in the living room. Guess what? I got a job opportunity and we're moving to LA in 2 weeks. I was like, all my dreams have come true. And off we went. We packed up the whole house. We're on a plane. We're coming out here. My dad must have thought the whole state of California was LA because we didn't move to LA. We moved to the big old city of Costa Mesa. That's right. And it would suffice. But I remember when I was 15 going on 16, I walked up into my high school campus and it was like a culture shock. I was looking around, I was like, wow, there's black people here. Like, I never hung out with blacks, right? There's brown people here, just like me. There's Asians, there's Persians. Like, I could get down with this. And I got this job on Harbor Boulevard at this McDonald's, right? Remember, I'm at the McDonald's, and my very first day, I'm flipping burgers with this guy named Carlos. And Carlos clearly he was older than me, right? And here's how he greeted me. Hey, S.A., you new in town? I go, yeah, I'm new in town. You smoke the wacky tobacco? I go, yes, I do. He goes, you drink? I go, absolutely. You want to party after work? No questions asked. We get off of work. We close down the kitchen. It's 10 o'clock at night. We're driving down Harbor Boulevard, the 32-year-old and the 16-year-old. And I don't know what's on the other end of this ride, but I think we might have a good time tonight. And we roll up into this parking lot of some gray, dingy, seedy-looking type of motel, right? And he tells me here, come here real quick. I get out of the car. He goes, sit on these stairs real quick. I'll be right back. And he goes up into this motel room. And I saw what room he went into, and he had me waiting there for quite a long time. About 15, 20 minutes went by. I got tired of waiting. So I saw what room he went into. I was banging on the door. Boom, 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 boom. Door opens, and there's a lady, and she's standing in this front room of this motel room. She's got a baby in her arms that's crying. There's a kid that's playing in the front room, too, on this bed, right? And you can't see the kitchen from the front room because there was some clothes that were drawn between the kitchen and the front room. I'm like, excuse me, miss, where's Carlos? And she said, well, he's back there in the kitchen. You go back there and talk to him. So I go back in the kitchen, and as I walk in, I look around, and I can't see Carlos. I see a kitchen table. I see some white, powdery, glistening stuff all lined up on that kitchen table. Never seen that in real life except for maybe on TV, like Miami Vice or something like that, right? I'm like, Carlos, are you back here? All of a sudden, his head pops up from the other table. Hey, S.A. I'm like, hey, did you forget about what are you doing down there? Oh, I forgot about you. Here, let me break you off real quick. He gives me a little bit of smoke. He gives me a little bit of drink. And so I smoke and I drink and I look at my watch. And I'm like, oh, man, it's late. I got to get home. And I start running down Victoria Boulevard thinking, like, I got to get into my house without my parents waking up. And by the time I got there, like a ninja in the night, I climbed up this tree and I got on my roof and I put one leg into my bedroom window. I put the other leg in there and I slid my body nice and quietly into my room. I thought, I'm going to get away with this. And I'm looking for the light switch. It's dark in my room. I'm in there, right? Where's this light switch? I can't see nothing. And finally, I find the light switch. I turn it on. My mom is in my bed laying wide awake with that look on her face. Son, where have you been? Why are your eyes so red? What is that I smell in your breath? Wait till your dad deals with you in the morning. And now I got to deal with the wrath of the old man tomorrow morning. And the next morning, they sit me down in the living room and they have their come to Jesus conversation with me. And they're gonna come at me left and right. In the big book, it talks about frothy emotional appeal seldom suffices. Dad's gonna walk in the room and do the same thing that dad always does. Rah, 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 just yelling. It's just noise to me. I'm so used to this, right? Now, mom comes in with that soft talk. Son, you're such a good kid. You were so scholastic and artistic and athletic, and maybe we made a big mistake. I don't know who you're hanging out with. Maybe we should put you in a different school. I'm like, what does that have to do with last night? So they put me in a whole different high school, and of course, PEJ is going to gravitate right towards the two people that seem like they're having the most fun, Amir and Omid. Now, Amir was this Indian dude, and Omid was Persian like me. And in our language, Omid means hope, but there was no hope for Omid, right? This dude was an animal, partied morning, noon, and night. He had a car, which was a great advantage to us because we started hearing about these high school parties, and that's what we were doing. Like, we depended on Omid to get us to the high school party. And we were getting into everything at the time. I mean, we were 15, 16 years old. We were smoking weed. We were drinking. Omid's dad worked in the hotel industry, so he worked long hours. We found a jar of cocaine underneath his bed. We started doing lines of that, and the next thing you know, we started rocking it up, and the next thing you know, we're cracked out. Like, we were straight up freebasing. This is the late 80s, right? We figured out how to make that stuff. 2 16-year-olds just cracked out, walking around like all skinny. That's not normal. Then I'm 17 and I get a driver's license. And my dad gave me his hand-me-down VW 1971 Super Beetle Bug. And I was so proud of my new car. He gave me the keys the night before. He said, "You be safe in this car." He got himself a new car. Next morning, I called all my friends. "Everybody be in front of your houses. I'm going to pick all you up tomorrow morning, and we're going to go to school in my new car." And it had rained the night before, so the streets were slick. And one by one, they're all piling into this car, and we're on our way to school. Just another normal morning. Senior year. The music's blaring in the car, just cheerfulness and happiness in the car. And as we started to get closer to this intersection, out of nowhere, this 14-year-old kid was on his bicycle, darts out right in the middle of the street, right in front of my car. I can't hit the brakes fast enough. His bike and body go over the hood of my car into the windshield. Windshield shatters. I can't see in front of me. Car keeps rolling, crashes into a minivan, and this kid's bike and body go over the minivan, head first into the ground. And back then, kids didn't wear helmets. As a matter of fact, this accident was the onset to a lot of people being required to wearing helmets. I got out the car and everything went into slow motion. I remember I tasted blood trickling down from my forehead into my mouth from the impact of the windshield. I could taste pieces of broken glass in my mouth. I looked at my friends, they had blood all over their faces. I thought to myself, did I hit a human body? I went and looked around the side of the minivan and saw the kid laying face down with blood gushing out the top of his head. I thought, I'm in big trouble, man. I'm in big trouble. And the police came, and the ambulance came, and the ambulance whisked the kid off to the hospital, and the police took me down to the police station, and they asked me all kinds of questions. I hadn't done nothing that morning. I was stone cold sober. They could shine the light in my eyes. They could test me. I was sober. And so they released me after they asked their questions. I remember going home, and I had that 100 forms of fear started kicking in real hard. Like, what is going to happen now? Everyone's going to know about this. Where's the kid? Did the kid survive? Found out that the mom was keeping the kid alive on life support. She was contemplating if she wanted to let him live, because had she let him live, he would have been a complete vegetable for the rest of his life. And after 4 days, she decided to pull the plug, and the kid lost his life. I mean, how's a 17-year-old kid like myself supposed to process something like that? This became an ultimate excuse for me to use and drink in excess, and that's exactly what I did. I mean, I felt like I had no place in the world anymore. I was so mad. I was mad at everything. I hated everything. And I was really mad at God, if there was such a God, right? And I remember I started getting into trouble, doing knucklehead stuff. You know, I'm sure some of you can relate. I started committing crimes. I started getting in fights. People come up to me on the streets and say, hey, aren't you the kid that killed that kid that was on the bicycle? I'm like, don't talk to me like that, man. I didn't go out there and kill him that day. It was an accident. As if you're labeling me as a killer, right? And then I started finding my way in the backseat of black and white. Every other day there was a paddy wagon or a cop coming, and I'm handcuffed on LSD or any type of substance, and they're sticking me in holding cells, and my angry father with those big eyes would come pick me up at the end of the day, and I'm like, I don't even want to deal with that guy. And I got into so much trouble within a few months that I found my way into juvenile court. And I was standing in front of this judge, and he said, Mr. Algerman, we don't see you fit to be on the streets. You're a complete menace to society. You've accumulated all these crimes in the last few months, and on top of that, you have a vehicular manslaughter charge without gross negligence riding over your head. We're sending you to juvie, and thus started my journey into the system. And I'm not jail material. But I quickly had to acclimate to that life. Now, when I got in there, I had a complete meltdown on day one in boys receiving. I said some stuff to where they thought that I was a danger to myself, so they transferred me to Unit L, And amongst the inmates, Unit L was the loony unit, the psych portion of this place. They put me on suicide watch. I was freezing in my room. I'm counting the bricks on the walls, feeling like I'm losing my mind. And it was in those moments where I started to ponder and wonder, is there such thing as a God? Like, why would God put me in this position? Why would God take that kid's life from him? He didn't even know what was going to happen to him that morning. Blackout, dead, gone, just like that. And why would God do this to me? I was somewhat of a normal kid not that long ago. Now I'm caged up in like an animal in this cell from morning, noon, and night. So I renounced God. I didn't have no room for a God like that in my life. I stopped believing in anything greater than myself. And on Sunday mornings, because when you're locked up for 21 hours a day in your cell, if they pop your door and they say, anybody want to go to Mass? Let's go to church. Man, I had so much time on my hands, I read the whole Bible. I was sitting in there all the time. I did a lot of reading, trying to kill a lot of boredom. They even put this devil worshiper in my cell one time as my cellmate. This dude was doing seances to the devil. He would take these Christian magazines, take the crosses, put them upside down in the room. I don't even know how he got gum, but that's how he was sticking them to the walls, and he'd be praying to the devil. I was like, what is this? What is this? And then on Mondays, they started asking us, they'd pop our door and say, does anybody want to hear a message of hope? And I don't know what that means, but if it gets me out of my cell for an hour, let's go. So I get out of my cell, I walk down this hallway, down this corridor, into this classroom type setting, and there was this priest there. And he was a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. And he had his little AA panel. He was the only member of the panel. He didn't bring nobody with him. He'd bring this big book, and he would read us passages out of that big book. Now, you got to understand something. I'm 17 at the time, like me and my buddies, right? I'm sitting there just like with a lot of mileage on me still, hip, slick, and cool. I'm not ready to receive a message, but the man was reading out of the big book to us little youngsters. And even though a seed was planted, and it was a weak seed, it was a seed nonetheless. And that was the first time I'd ever been introduced to anything that had to do with recovery. And I didn't think it applied to me. I didn't even know what it really was. By the time I got out of there, my mom was divorcing my father, and that did not sit well with me. It really ruined my psyche. We came to this country as a 4-family unit, and now our family's splitting apart. And they put the little ankle monitor on me, and I go to stay with my mom, and my mom didn't like the company that I kept, and she would tell me something, and I'd tell her something. We'd get into it. I'd leave my mom's house. I'd punch some holes in the drywall right by her head, scare the old lady. I'd go over to my dad's house. We'd be over there. I'd be there for a few days, and then we were cool until we weren't cool, and then he didn't like something that I did, and I didn't really like his tone. And by the time I turned 18 years old, one day Dad got in my face, and now I was big enough and bad enough to hold my own. And for the first time in my life, instead of him putting his hands on me, I put my hands on him. See, I suffered from body dysmorphia too, so I would do this stuff called steroids to enhance my muscles, and the next thing you know, I had this sudden strength and roid rage and roid fits, and you get in my face, Dad, and I'm gonna show you. And it scared him so bad that one day he sat me down and he said, listen, son, I have provided for you your whole life. I'm not obligated to you anymore. You're 18 now. Here's the apartment. If you want to go to college or you want to get a job, you can do whatever you need to do for your life. I'm going back to the old country. And he moved back to Iran. And almost simultaneously, my mama moved up to Santa Monica. And here I was, this 18-year-old kid still wet behind the ears with no home training, no guidance from a male figure, engulfed in alcoholism and addiction and not even really knowing it. Suffering but not knowing I'm suffering. I went into survival mode. Listen, I tried to go to college. I could not pay attention. When I'm loaded, how am I going to listen to this teacher? It's just wah, wah, wah. And then on top of that, so I dropped out of college. I tried to get a job working for the man. I tried to get 2 jobs to make the rent. I can't hold the job when I'm loaded all the time. So I started learning other ways of making money. I'm sure you can use your imagination. I mean, this was the late 80s, early 90s. As I started going into young adulthood, we would listen to music that would profess how to make money the easy way. And if you'd have been outside of my friend circle and looked at PEJ and asked about PEJ, like what kind of lifestyle does PEJ have, my friends would tell you extravagant. He's got the pretty girls that come over, the strippers. He's got the homies that answer to him. And that's just a bunch of ego stroking. Because deep within the pit of my stomach, there was always this sense of impending doom. Like, what is wrong with me? And I'm clear on the fact that I was filling the void that was within me, that God-sized hole, with drugs and alcohol. By the time I was 30 years old, I had some interactions with the Orange County Methamphetamine Task Force. We were Breaking Bad before it was even a thought of a TV show. These guys surrounded the house. There was helicopters. They were in their riot gear. I mean, I told them, listen, I've been waiting for you guys to come. I'm just wondering when you're going to come. Because all that paranoia and everything that comes with that lifestyle was adding up. And the person that was closest to me is the one that snitched on me in the first. And I thought it was everybody but her. So when you locked me up, especially during that time, I was the type of I used a substance in the 90s that we never slept. I don't think I slept the entire 90s. When you lock me up, guess what I do? I sleep and I sleep for days. Heavy sleep. I don't even get up to use the restroom, and I'm not hungry. I'm just going to sleep. I slept for so many days, and one day this cholo came walking through the day room, and he said, H&I is coming through. Anybody want to hear a message of hope? And I'm like, H&I, what does that even stand for? Homies and inmates? They said, nah, fool. It's Alcoholics Anonymous. Get off the rack and come down here. I sit down on the chairs and circle the chairs, all the other inmates in my jailhouse issue. These two dudes come walking in. They look really well put together. Really clean cut and nice. I'm looking at these guys like, who are these clowns? They come to bring their AA panel to us and carry the message. And I'm sitting there like this, just taking their inventory. Because don't you know I'm an inventory taker? Like, what is wrong with them? They can't hold their liquor. They can't do drugs like gentlemen. They come down here to whine to us about this stuff. Shouldn't they be at home? It's Thursday night. Be home with your wife and your kids and take care of your family. I'm not thinking that every single solitary time that I end up in jails and institutions and all these type of situations, it surrounds itself around my alcoholism and the bad decisions that I make. So I'd get out of there, and my mom, she took me to this place in Huntington Beach. It was a Persian sober living. We showed up there. I kid you not, the dude that answered the door looked like a little Persian recovery Yoda. He even sounded like Yoda with a Persian accent. He's like, hello, how are you doing? Welcome, this is sober living. We have rules, we have regulations, we have chores, we go to meetings. I'm like, riveting. What is your name? My name is Sia. I go, Mr. Sia, with all due respect, nice place you have. I checked out the bedrooms, not staying here. Going to this other dude's house named Dave Regal across town. God rest his soul, Dave is no longer with us, but Dave was one of them AA dinosaur Nazis. I don't even know what I said to him in his living room. I must have puffed out my chest to Dave because he didn't like me. He lit me out. Listen here, kid. You just get out of the jailhouse. I go, yes, sir. He goes, you keep your jailhouse mentality in the jailhouse. When you're in my house, you go to one meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous every single day. Are we clear? I'm like, yeah, okay, Dave. So now I'm sentenced to AA meetings because of Dave Regal. And I had a little court card, and I go sit in a Newport club upstairs. Back then, they would have these lazy boy chairs, and you could smoke in the room. And you got to understand, the inventory taker's back in your rooms. I'm here to judge you people. I never, ever shared once. I have nothing for you. I'm not a part of this community. I'm apart from this community. You ask me my name, I won't even tell you my real name. My name is Brian. We'll just call it a day. I sit there and look at the clock and wonder, when is the meeting going to end? Sometimes it feels like the clock went backwards. And then people get up and they're like, I've taken 7 years. Man, you know what? My head's saying, you don't even look like you have 7 days. And why is the 3 guys in the back of the room still like staring at me so hard? They're probably working for the cops. They're still watching me. And one day my boy Pete said, PEJ, why do you go to meetings? I go, because Dave Regal requires us to go to one meeting every single day. And I got to get the court cards. And he goes, don't you know the secret sauce? I go, what's the secret sauce? He said, you can sign your own court card. You never have to go back to Alcoholics Anonymous ever again. I'm like, how does that work? He said, well, you think about it, PEJ. It's not like your PO knows the secretary of the meeting. It's anonymous. I'm like, I never thought of that. So I started signing my own court card, and I worked my way out of AA. And by doing it my way for the next 5 years, I ran my life into the ground. I lost the trust of my mother. She changed the locks on her doors. She became a member of Al-Anon. On top of that, I was living out of my car on Harbor Boulevard as a homeless man. There are different levels of homelessness. There's couch surfing homeless. There's living out of your car homeless. That was me. My closet was the trunk, and I would try to go from place to place, and sometimes I'd go stay at so-and-so's house because I had something to offer them, and a handle of alcohol or some drugs or something. But when that runs out, you're not really welcome here. They give you the stink eye and go get some more and get out. And one day, I had been up for so many days because I was, a major tweaker. And I put up all these black T-shirts inside of the windows of my car just so no sunlight would come in. And just as I was starting to pass out, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm not well, there's always that one friend that shows up to tell me what's good for me. And he knocks on my door, on my window of my car. I'm like, who is that? He's like, PEJ, it's me. It's Randy. I'm like, Randy, what's up? He's like, PEJ, roll down the window for a second. Do I have to? He goes, yeah, roll it down. I roll it down. He's like, PEJ, you don't look well. I go, did I ask? He said, PEJ, you're homeless. I'm like, hey. I roll down the window real quick. Hey, check this out. Homeless are the people that sleep in them encampments, in the tents. That's lower level homelessness. Homeless is the wino that staggers up and down Harbor Boulevard drunk out of his mind and passes out on the asphalt. That's bottom of the barrel homeless. I still got my car, man. If anything, I'm executive homeless. He said, okay, but you're without a home, so you're just homeless. Whenever you want help, you know who to call. You can always reach out to us. So I tried to live that lifestyle for another few months, and then I went to go dry out on my friend's couch. And my version of doing detox, PEJ's version, for a long time was to quit doing heroin, meth, and cocaine. But I could still drink and smoke weed. No, PEJ, that ain't detoxing. That's just quitting the heavy stuff, doing the light stuff that's going to take you back to the heavy stuff anyway. Because I'm disease-ridden. There's no God in my life. The drugs and the alcohol are my higher power. That's just the way I get down. I've been getting down like this for a long time, trying to numb out whatever's been going on in the psyche of mine. And one day it just happened, man. It hit me like a bag of bricks. God placed some people in my life that said exactly the right thing at the right time for me to be able to hear it, to make the right choice. And what does every so-called gangster do when they run out of options? They call their mommy. And I called my mom, and she was a brown belt in Al-Anon. The conversation was different. She told me that I was dead to her. I'm like, Mom, what are they teaching you, those Al-Anon classes? That's nothing to say to your son. That's wrong. She said, I lost my son when he was an adolescent. It's as if a monster came and took him away from me, and this isn't what I was trying to raise. A person that's in and out of jail, a person that's homeless on the streets. She said, look, I love you, but the way I've been loving you, I'll literally love you to death. If you want help, you call this phone number. She gave me this number, and I wrote it down. She said, did you write it down? I said, yes. She hung up on me. My mom would never, ever hang up on me. Once they go to Al-Anon, party's over. So I called the number a few days later, this dude named Max. I said, Mr. Max, my name is PEJ. I think I want to get sober. You think you want to get sober, sir? I said, no, I want to get sober. When do you want to get sober? I said, today's Tuesday. How about Friday? I had some affairs to attend to, some things to finish up. He said, Friday morning, I want you to go to this house in Irvine, California. I want you to park your car out front and be there at 9 a.m. sharp and knock on the front door, and there'll be a man there to help you. So Friday morning, I didn't sleep on Thursday night, so I was already awake on Friday morning, wide awake. I scoured the whole neighborhood. I went and parked the car out front, and I went and knocked on the door, and the door opened real slow. And suddenly I noticed it was the little Persian recovery Yoda, Mr. Sia from 5 years before. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm like, man, I can't shake you. I know this guy. I know you. I looked him right in his eyes. I know you. He's like, I don't know you. I go, hey, didn't you have a house on Beach Boulevard 5 years ago? Oh, yeah, I had a house. Don't you remember I came and looked at the bedrooms? Don't remember. No, don't remember you. How do you not remember this mug? Because I only remember the ones that stay. I said, fair. So he brought me into his house, and listen, I'm going to tell you this right now because I kind of want to get into other parts of my life that, have changed. That man was an angel. God placed that man in my path not once but twice. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The teacher was there before. The student wasn't ready. I told him, before I even move into your house, there's two things that are going to probably stop me from moving into your house, as if they have the privilege of moving into their establishment. He said, what are the two things that you might keep you from moving in? I said, one is I don't believe in God. I don't want to talk about God. I don't want you to try to sell me on the God idea. None of it. Oh, we don't talk about God very much. I said, okay, fair. The other one, no meetings. None of that 12-step stuff, no AA, NACA, no 12 steps, no meetings. Oh, we don't go to many meetings. I go, perfect. Sign the paper right there. That night, we were in a meeting. Next day, we're in a meeting at noon. That night, we were in a meeting. 2 meetings a day, every single day. I don't think that Mr. Sia was working an honest program. But you want to know something? I'm happy God placed him in my life because that man helped me work through some of my most traumatic events. He helped me work through my car accident and all the pain and remorse and sadness and anguish and everything I carried around, the guilt. We worked through that. I got a sponsor. I worked the steps. I had a spiritual awakening as a result of the steps. I told that sponsor in the beginning, I don't believe in God. Then I got into the big book and I started reading that stuff. And man, it just spoke to me. I came to the program looking for a God that was never lost. I was lost. And God shone the light. He put the people in my path that shone the light that brought me into this path. And then Mr. Cia started talking about, you need to go to school because when you're in these groups, you're really good with your feedback, but you have no empathy. I'm like, what does empathy even mean? Sounds like sympathy. And he goes, something like that. Go to school. I go, listen, Mr. Cia, I don't do good in school. Like I'm a 1.8 grade point average high school student. F's were all I ever knew. And I even went to the Art Institute at 32 years of age. I'm an artist, and I got kicked out of art school. He said, PEJ, were you high in high school? I said, absolutely. PEJ, were you high in college? Yes. Try to go to school sober and see what happens. I'll listen to anything you say because you have not led me wrong. So I went over here to Saddleback, as many people that are new in recovery, they do. They go to school for drug and alcohol studies. I wanted to learn about these drugs, and I wanted to learn about why we used them. Man, did you know that when you stay sober, you can actually pay attention in class? You can get your assignments done. You can do good on the quizzes. You actually pass the test. Man, when they gave me this paper, it said, PEJ 4.0. Never saw those numbers attached to my head. It said, Dean's list. I'm like, who's Dean? How did I make his list? So I started working in treatment. First, I worked in an adolescent facility with these little mini PEJs, right? A lot of stuff they did reminded me a lot of myself, except for I never knew that you could smoke pills. I'm meeting 12-year-olds that are going to grandma's cabinet smoking her oxys. Like, what the hell is this? I never dealt with nothing like that. And then there was a little power struggles, and then the Department of Justice decided to take me out of that place because they said, we don't want a former meth user and seller working with adolescents. I'm like, what the heck? So I tried to fight that case, and I beat it. It took me a little while, but by that time, I started working in adult treatment with adults that acted like adolescents a lot of times. And then people told me, PEJ, you have a voice. You need to take it to the next level. Like, it's cool that you like doing this recovery stuff in your recovery community, but you need to, like, now that you're an educator and you've been educated, and because you have a life experience, take it farther. And then the pandemic hit. Now, I had already had a podcast with a normie in 2017 called The Sober Grind. And that was cool. You know, he would ask me normie questions, and I would give him addict and alcoholic answers. But when the pandemic hit, we had a lot of time on our hands, so I decided to create this other podcast called PEJ's Recovery Corner. And then this other young cat, because I like to listen to the youth, especially the youngsters that are on social media, because you might learn some stuff from them that you might not know if you're too old. And at the time, I was turning like 49, 50 years old, and he's like, you need to get on TikTok, PEJ. I'm like, no. Isn't TikTok, wasn't that Musical.ly, which was Vine before? Like, that's kid stuff. Kids do that stuff. And then, PEJ, you don't understand. TikTok is where you want to be. At the time, I had been fully trained. I'd been working under the direction of a guy named Earl Hightower, who's been an interventionist for 4 decades, right? He's also my sponsor to this day in AA, right? And Earl taught me how to intervene on people's lives. Then I was also taught, remember, God places angels in your path. I was also taught by another gentleman how to do a lot of recovery coaching, life coaching, family coaching, and things like that. So I became certified in that too. And this kid told me, you get on TikTok, you'll be the first interventionist that's on there. And it'll build your brand. And people will see you and you know what? He did not lead me wrong. I'm going to Chick-fil-A with my girlfriend and the kids, and all of a sudden, the dude comes out. You know the guy that stands out there and takes your order? He's like, I know you from somewhere. I'm like, I don't know you. TikTok. I go to amusement parks. Kids walking up to me, you're the TikTok. I'm like, what are you scrolling on social media that you find me? And I'm, at this point, like, I don't just, I would get sick of seeing myself on TikTok all the time. So, like, I try to change my clothes and have colorful backgrounds, and I love graffiti, and I love the street life, and so, like, and I don't want to just sound like a redundant, like, educator. Like, I would get sick of hearing myself. So I try to give it some flavor and talk about everything. What meth is like. What's the difference between a meth addict and a heroin addict, right? All the different stuff that we learned and did and all that stuff. And then we created this other podcast after PEJ's Recovery Corner called Primary Purpose with PEJ. And the reason we did that is we got a producer, and for some reason YouTube will flag you, or if you have the word recovery or addiction in your name, then you get flagged, so child restricted, so less eyes see you. But right now we're doing great things with it. I'm part of this team called Intervention on Call. I'm telling you right now, I'm a manifester. Like, when you stay sober and you really truly believe that God has a purpose for you, God lays it all out, and you just go and start doing it. And it keeps happening and keeps happening. I open these recovery homes. I used to sit in my recovery home when I was like 10 days sober. And I think, so this dude has all these beds in here, and he probably rents this house, and he gives us some food and sends us to these meetings and has these little groups and things like that. I wonder if I could ever have my own house one day. Wonder if I could do what this guy's doing. And I started opening houses when I was 7 years sober in LA, in Westwood. And then I moved down here, and everything happened perfectly. My mom had this one house in Laguna Niguel, and I opened that house, and then one in Lake Forest, and then I opened one in Laguna Hills, and then Mission Viejo. Now I own one in Irvine. It's called Essence Intensive. It's an intensive house with people with high acuity mental health that need to be their medication, they need to be medicated and normalized to a certain extent so that we can actually help them get their lives together. And then we've got a lot of failure to launch type youngsters and oldsters and people that have gone to countless treatment centers, people that were homeless, people that come from well-to-do families, people that come from poverty-stricken families. Listen, what we want to teach these people, we don't care where you're from or who you knew or how you used or what you used or none of that stuff. We want to teach you recovery. We'll spoon feed you that stuff. So people have to go to meetings, they got to get a sponsor, they got to work steps. And listen, I have a deep respect for Rick Warren, for Celebrate Recovery. There are a lot of people that have come through our houses. They wanted to go to the Mormon church, they wanted to go to the Christian church. They want to do recovery, and whatever works, whatever helps people. As a result of the steps, I myself developed this relationship with a loving God that has had my back through and through. And God places so many characters in my path. Because I'm a part of this thing called Intervention on Call, and because I have this YouTube presence too now, there are mothers from across, not just across America, there are mothers from across the world that call me, or fathers that call me to tell me that their loved one is struggling. What can I do to try to help them? And I try to coach them to show them how enabling is keeping them sick. And whatever we can do to try to help. And then some of them will find me and they'll ask me to come out. I've been to so many different parts of the country and now globally. I'm going in tents, finding people on fentanyl, meth, psychosis. All the other interventionists send all the psychosis cases to me because they don't know what to do with them. And I meet people where they're at, and I know when I'm standing in front of somebody who can't differentiate the truth from the false, I know that the devil is running their show. The devil is running their life. And it's my duty to try to help them get off the streets or get their lives together. It's just what it is. So I think I've touched on everything. I want you all to know something. You got a good thing going here. I want to thank Dave and I want to thank Scott for even considering me to come out here and talk to you guys, because if you're sitting in this room, if you just look around, you got people from all different nationalities, races, creeds, and colors. If your heart's beating and your lungs are breathing, God is the breath inside the breath. God has a purpose for you. The measure of your anxiety is the measure of your distance from God. Tap into this thing, man. We need you. We definitely need you. And if you're going to move out of this state or go back to your respective hometowns, take some of this recovery there with you so you can help the next one and the next one. It's a butterfly effect. Thank you.
Stay right here, stay right here.
Awesome. Give it up for Paige. Yes, yes.
All right, Father God, thank you so much for Paige and that his story and that, gosh, the work that you do in our hearts. Nobody changes like that, Lord. When you come into our world, when you interrupt so lovingly into our world, and you prove that new creation. And I love hearing these stories over and over again about how you take somebody and say, no, you are not the world's anymore, you're mine. And then you do powerful things through him, Lord. And Paige is such an example of that, Lord. So to continue to give him strength, continue to give him clarity and mission and opportunities to spread his word of your love and your power in his life, Lord. Thank you for him and his ministries. Continue to bless him. Continue to remind him to rely on your strength, that you are living right inside of him, and so to continue to lean on you and be still and let you do the work, Lord. Get us all home safely tonight, and just thank you for this night to glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.